The Washington Commanders defeated the Chicago Bears last night, 12-7 in a not so thrilling, action-packed Thursday night football game. It was not fun, guys. It's just plain and simple. It was not good football. At one point, Aaron sent during our chat. What did you send during our chat about the Bears, Aaron? What was it?
Well, I said the Bears are atrocious. And then I said, well, the Commanders are too. So it really that's really what it was. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And I proceeded to say that you need to put the Georgia Bulldogs at 32 in our power rankings, and then we have the Chicago Bears just fall off because of how bad it was. This game was not very entertaining. Al Michaels, I'm not sure if you guys heard during the game, but we're listening to him. But he was just not invested at all. Like his emotions and his analysis was just so flatline. I was like, dude, this game is miserable. This might be the worst football game I have ever seen. But it was football. We got to see some things, some highlights from this game, some good things, some good notes from this game. Brian Robinson got his first touchdown since being shot in the leg. First career touchdown, actually. He went 17 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Aaron, you have been the most talkative about the situation between Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. What did you see last night? What was your analysis from the game, at least from the rushing attack from the Washington Commanders?
Well, first, I would like to say, before I get into that, you mentioned Georgia being number 32. I'm going to be honest. I think Washington is number 32, even beating the Bears. And I'm sure we'll get into that as we get closer to the power rankings. But there is much to be said that maybe the Bears are the better football team. They just made the most mistakes in this game. Let's be honest. They actually dominated up and down the field in that game, gained a lot of yards, and Washington did absolutely nothing. But they turned the football over, got stopped on fourth down a number of times inside the red zone. So Washington gets the win. However, the running game, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. I want to caution people, as I've done for the past 2 months. Brian Robinson is not special. And I'll say it again. Like, I get it. It's a great story. We all like to see guys that go through adversity come out and play well and do certain things. But I watched that game last night. Brian Robinson's not a special running back. Brian Robinson is a thumper that goes downhill that can get you some touchdowns at the goal line. But he does not have explosiveness that you look for in the running back position. He is a poor man's Ezekiel Elliott now. He's a really poor man's Derrick Henry. Like, he does not have the explosiveness, and you can see it. In limited touches, and there is a lot to be said about Antonio Gibson and why he doesn't deserve to be on the field. In running style, just alone, the ability to break tackles. And I think the biggest comparison right now is look at Dameon Pierce and look at Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson didn't run through any tackles. He didn't do anything special. Dameon Pierce, on the other hand, looks explosive, and he has that bowling ball type of mentality. If you look at the type of running back Brian Robinson is, it is not going to cut it in this league. He's no threat out of the backfield in the passing game, because they got J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson. He is a 2.9-yard thumper, and if he falls into the end zone, fantasy owners may be happy. But I'm sorry, I have him in a fantasy league. And I was like, you know what? For Vinny, I'm going to start him today. I really started him because it's an easy win for me. I'm playing a team with an atrocious team. So I'm like, hey, maybe he falls into the end zone. He did. But I'm watching that game, and I'm like, he won't start for me anymore. Rest of the season, he won't. Because the offensive line play is not good. The yards per carry is not good. There's no explosiveness. He does not have that upside that we look for in running backs. He just doesn't. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
I thought he was still hurt. There was one run that they bragged about because he got 8 yards, and I don't know how he was not tackled at the 2 yards in, because
he could be. That he very well could be still hurt. But if that's the case, then it's just stupid to run him 17 times when you got people that are healthy in the backfield. That makes even less sense.
I don't know if I guess I'm interested to see what you see, and maybe we'll talk about this next week when we talk more about week 6 and everything, but what you see in the fact that Brian, to me, I don't know if I'm out yet on Brian Robinson. I didn't think he had that great of a game. I was begging like every other fantasy owner. I did have him in my lineup because I had to this week in our 1,000 player fantasy football league that we're in. I had to start Brian Robinson, and I'm thankful that he got into the end zone. But during the game, I was like, man, this is kind of like what last week was with him. It's just there's not much going on, but the workload was there, and that's where I think his value comes in. I'm not so sure I'm sold out on his productivity and that he can't get better. I mean, he's still, and I'm not going to put him on Dameon Pierce's level. Well, he's not there. He's just not Dameon Pierce is a better running back than Brian Robinson.
I'm not really talking from a fantasy perspective, Vinny. I get it. From a fantasy perspective.
No, I'm talking about in general.
That's my point.
I'm talking about in general. You look at the two running backs on the field. He's not on Dameon Pierce's level on the field. Absolutely. Dameon Pierce is a better running back than Brian Robinson. But this man, like AJ was saying, he might still be hurt. Who knows? I'm not going to guess on that part. But this is only his second game back in this offense. He is a rookie. Dameon Pierce didn't start off that great either with the Houston Texans in that first game either. And this was the first real game for Brian Robinson where he was the guy. So I'm not so sold out on
a poor defense.
I agree. I don't know about a poor run defense. Poor run
defense. Green Bay ran for almost 200. Houston Texans ran all over the Chicago Bears. They are a poor run defense and an excellent pass defense.
I think Roquan Smith was everywhere last night.
Roquan is everywhere every week.
But that doesn't change the numbers. That doesn't change that they gave up 200 yards rushing to Houston and to Green Bay.
I'm just saying, I think that I'm not completely sold out on Brian Robinson just yet. I think that there still may be some good days to come, not in just fantasy, but I think he progresses and builds towards being a good running back in this league. Not a great running back. I'm not trying to say he can be a great running back, but I'm not sold out on him being a bad running back because I'm not disagreeing with you that he's a bad running
But when has he ever been explosive? He wasn't explosive in college.
You're right.
He was good because he played on Alabama. So what skill set are you saying that you're holding out hope for? Is this just Vinny's emotions saying, I love Brian Robinson because he played at Alabama? Because you're not giving me any substance.
I think he was a good pass-catching running back at Alabama. I think he did have good plays at Alabama. I thought he played well at Alabama.
What was his skill set? Like, what skill set that translates to the NFL is what I'm asking. Not just, I played at Alabama behind the best offensive line in the damn country, and I could run through holes that were bigger than anything. Like, what skill set translates? That's what I'm asking from an NFL perspective.
I think he can go, like you said, he had a great blocking system at Alabama. He can run in between tackles. He can find holes. He's not explosive. He's not going to blow up plays. I don't know the answer to your fucking question then. I don't know the answer to your fucking question.
And you're this is what I mean. You're emotional. You're using your bias because you can't sit here and tell me that you cannot sit here and tell me you have hope for somebody and not have a skill set to go. What substance is behind that? It's just hope. It's just you saying, I hope he's going to be better.
Was he a bad running back at Alabama?
He was. I'm asking you what skill set translates to the NFL. That's what I'm asking you.
I was trying to tell you that he finds holes. He's a good damn running back. Okay, and we'll see. Okay, you were already wrong once about Brian Robinson. He had a great fucking fantasy day, and now you're going to be wrong again. Screw you.
Whoa, a great fantasy day.
Great fantasy day. Great fantasy day for someone you drafted in like the 10th, 11th, 12th round. Okay.
He did exactly what I told you.
Shout out the Commanders.
I told you. If he falls into the end zone, you're happy. If he doesn't, it's nothing. That's it.
Unbelievable. On the Bears side of things, Justin Fields, 14 of 27, 190 yards, a tutty, an interception. His weapons are exactly like we said on Wednesday's power ranking show. He literally has nothing. That Bears offense, in terms of outside of Darnell Mooney, is hot garbage. Hot garbage. Velus Jones cost them this game again. Well, no. That Martise guy, Smith Martise, cost them the game. This one because he had a catch and he didn't catch it, and he didn't come down with it. It came down to him.
I'm not letting it happen. I'm not letting it happen, actually. I'm not letting that happen, actually, because at first they gave a lot of credit for that last night during the game, and really I put that on Justin Fields. That wasn't the best place to throw that ball. Darnell Mooney had to go up and make a catch, and while he had his hands on it and bobbled it and should have secured it, sure. But there was so much more room for Justin Fields to lead Darnell Mooney so he can run into the ball, catch it in his chest, and cross the goal line. It's not a great placement for the ball. We won't even talk about all those other options, but I get it. You're talking about having your fifth read be the guy who's wide open in the flat. Look at all the space to the left. You could have led Darnell Mooney on the stride, and he catches that ball, toe taps on the other side of the pylon, and scores a touchdown for the win. Wasn't a great throw. Wasn't a good spot. You gave the defender a chance to get there and hit him and jar the ball loose. Could have been a better throw. Should Darnell Mooney caught it? Absolutely. He had a great position once he went to go get the ball, and he let it go. That's on both of them. You can talk about David Montgomery being on the other side. Justin Fields was never going to get to that portion of the field. He was one of his very late reads. They were facing pressure all night. He thought he had to get the ball gone quick. It's not all Darnell Mooney in that side. It's a lot of the Bears all the way through. But
Yeah,
they put up
I didn't say it was Darnell
390
Mooney.
yards of offense. 390 yards of offense. It could not win. Could not get in the end zone. There's a lot more to it.
I think the fact that what he has around him to throw. I did not specify Darnell Mooney. I'm really talking about everyone. Like you cannot win that many games when you're throwing guys like Smith Martise, Equanimeous St. Brown, and Velus Jones. Like you're not going to win. But what I guess my biggest question with all this is
those guys were good in college, Vinny.
No, they were not. Stop it.
Yes.
What?
No, they were not. Stop it. Who's this Smith Martise guy? I've never even heard of him in my goddamn life.
You just like to say his name. You said his name 73 times over the past 2 days.
I don't know who this guy is. And then also, was Equanimeous St. Brown that good in college?
Those guys were good in college.
Actually, yeah, it was pretty.
Were
good.
they? Yeah. Were they that good in college? Yeah, do your research here. Do your research.
It's not even Martise. I don't even know why you keep calling him that.
What is it?
It's Marset.
Marset. That's it. Marset. Marchette. Marset. Mar nothing. More garbage.
I do disagree with you, AJ, though. I do disagree with you. You can blame Justin Fields for not putting the ball in a better place. Mooney's their number one receiver. Darnell Mooney's supposed to be the guy. Darnell Mooney's got to catch the damn ball. He said it. I'm not going to deflect to Justin Fields. Justin Fields actually ran 60 yards on that play, made the play happen. He threw to wide open receivers. They could not catch the ball. They all dropped it. Yes, it's not all on Darnell Mooney because, first of all, that play is a microcosm of what that game was. How about we talk about the coaching in the red zone and you couldn't find a way to get in the end zone once when you were down there time after time after time again. That
fourth down run play with Khalil Herbert up the middle made no sense to be like I can't that
looked like he belly flopped on his own pile.
Justin Fields doinking it off to somebody, picked off. Khalil Herbert late in the game, they throw first of all a route that's right at the goal line is a very dangerous route on fourth down. You got to be able to get into the end zone. You have to the scheme for what Justin Fields does best.
It's always in the best spot.
Always.
This is the same question. I always want to have him drop back and just standard sit there and throw the football. They need to get him in the positions that he's best at, and they still do not do it. And Justin Fields does not have the skill set, the developmental skill set right now to be an in the pocket passer the entire game. He doesn't have it. He is not Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants to say that because he can run. He's not. Lamar Jackson's a much better pocket passer than Justin Fields. Justin Fields has to be out of the pocket. You have to get him in space. You have to protect him, and they can't do any of that. And the Bears are.
I think it's starting to get psychological with him because, when he was at Ohio State, he wanted to be a passer. He wanted to be able to throw the ball, and he had the weapons, he had the line. And for the past 2 seasons, he's just been pressured and pressured and pressured. I think he's been sacked 14 times at this point. I forgot the exact stat, but he's faced a lot of pressure over the last couple of weeks. And at this point, I think it's just becoming instinctual. If his first progression's not there, maybe his second's not there. If he waits that long, he takes off and runs because that's all he knows how to do. He's facing pressure after pressure, and it's just about getting out of the pocket. That's understand.
The NFL, AJ. I know his offensive line is bad, but that's the NFL. You don't get to sit back there like you do at Ohio State for 6.5 seconds.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about 2 seconds. I'm talking 3 seconds. He freaks quickly is what I'm getting.
Yeah, because he's
and maybe he's getting that pressure. But there's other quarterbacks you could say the same thing about. I mean, that was what we looked at Jalen Hurts and thought he had an issue with, that he just wanted to run too much. And as soon as he got a little bit more line and he got a coach that knew how to use him, it became better. Justin Fields isn't at that point yet. They haven't done enough to get him comfortable to be able to even move within the pocket and find his progressions. It's not like
the pressure is going to burst the pipes.
I think it already has.
Vinny named the number the other day I think it was Vinny. When Jalen Hurts is pressured, he's one of the worst quarterbacks. He's worst quarterback in football. And when he's not pressured, he's great. He looks great because that's every quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. The stat was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts passer rating when pressured 22nd in the league, and then 5th in the league when not pressured. And then I said the similar stat the previous week with Joe Burrow when he's not pressured. It's that is what it is. It's just the team is bad. Expect more bad games. I'm sorry.
I don't
Bears
know if Justin
fans.
Fields lasts in Chicago. Remember, this is not Eberflus's guy. This is not their GM's guy. They didn't draft him. I do think there's going to come a point in time in a couple of years that Justin Fields is probably not in Chicago. Maybe next year. I mean,
I don't think that's a bad thing.
After year 3.
Justin Fields, the 76th quarterback in 7 years for the Indianapolis Colts. That's how that works. The Colts are just going to continue rolling through quarterbacks. Next year, it's going to be Daniel Jones. The year after that, we'll find Justin Fields in there. It's what's going to happen. All right, but that we talked way too much about this game. The Bears, they go to 2-4. Commanders also now 2-4. They win this game 12-7. Let's stay with this game and get into some morning headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Probably the biggest highlight from last night's action, what came after the game when head coach Ron Rivera walked off his press conference with this little note.
Oh, what's important is these guys, okay? For the last couple of weeks, honestly, I'm gonna speak my mind for a second. It's been hard. It really has. You lose 4 games in a row, and everybody wants to get you, just get on you. And they've played their asses off. They have. They played their asses off for everybody. They come out and they show up. They work hard. All right. They don't complain. Okay. They hear all this stuff and they got to deal with it. I get that. And I respect them for that because they're resilient. They come back. Everybody keeps wanting to say, I didn't want anything to do with Carson. Well, bullshit. I'm the fucking guy that pulled out the sheets of paper, that looked at the analytics, that watched the tape in the when we were at Indianapolis. Okay. And that's what pisses me off. Because the young man doesn't deserve to have that all the time. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Walked off the set, dropped the mic, defended his quarterback, defended his team, all after the win against the Bears. Aaron, you're shaking your head. What do you? What's your?
Womp womp womp! Don't put things on my quarterback. He's not that bad. I watched the tape. Man, shut the hell up. Nobody cares. It's the NFL. It's a business. These guys have a job to do, and he's not doing his job. Great. You want to defend your quarterback that threw for 99 yards against the Bears? Like, come on. I don't care about him going up there and ranting about leave them alone. My team's trying. They're doing their best. This is not Pee Wee football. These are grown-ass men getting paid millions of dollars to play the game, specifically millions of dollars in Carson Wentz's case, he doesn't get the same criticism as every other quarterback that's not playing well? 99 yards? He threw for 99 yards against the Chicago Bears. And yes, their pass defense is not very bad. They got some rookies back there that are playing well. 99 yards, that's 99 yards, and we're going to sit here and defend that? No, hell no.
Not good, Bob.
He should have went back to his last statement and said, what's the difference between his team? The quarterback. They still – I don't get why you're going to go up there and rant like that in that situation.
Can I ask you a question here about this Wentz thing, about the Commanders?
I don't get
it. Yeah, well, we know you don't get it.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
Try.
We talked about this the other day, with Baker Mayfield and certain quarterbacks, they try and do just that they try and win you the game. They try and go out and make those plays. The hero ball is what you called it. Do you think the Commanders would be better off with Taylor Heineke as their quarterback?
Yes, not a question. This is the same exact thing as Baker Mayfield. How is Terry McLaurin worse as a player with Carson Wentz than any other quarterback he's had? 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were talking Terry McLaurin right up there with who? DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, all these guys that came in that were in year 3 wide receivers, like, oh, he's got next. How is it that he's worse? Terry McLaurin ain't worse a player. He still gets open. He still does the same things. He's not hurt. How is he worse? There's only one thing that could possibly be. He actually got more help. Curtis Samuel's there. Jahan Dotson was playing well early. He got worse as a player because Carson Wentz is the quarterback. That is a problem. They need to bench Carson Wentz immediately. I don't care if it's Taylor Heineke. I don't care if it's Sam Howell. And I'm not saying those guys are the answer. But we have now seen that Carson Wentz is not the answer. What are you trading for Carson Wentz for? Because I know it's not 99 yards and a 12-7 win over the Chicago Bears. That's not what you're looking for.
A Bo Raps 12-7 win. Because
Felix
Jones don't drop that punt and on the damn 6. I don't know that they win that game. It was not.
The Bears
good.
beat themselves.
They really did. They really did. And even with Ron Rivera said, I'll give you this. I think that actually came from the fact that he felt bad that he's probably the reason Carson Wentz got all this week, because what he said was true and he knows it's true, but he was hoping it wouldn't open up Pandora's box for 7 days straight. And newsflash, it's been for about 2.5 years, because Carson Wentz, since he left the Eagles, all eyes has been on him, because he said, basically in less words or maybe more, that he needed a new start. Philadelphia wasn't the place for him. They weren't doing right by him. I'm ad-libbing, obviously. And he went to the Colts, a team that everybody looked at, had the defense, needed the quarterback, had the offensive line, needed a quarterback. Carson Wentz was supposed to be that guy, and he made them worse as well. That defense carried them to what should have been a playoff berth, and Carson Wentz almost single-handedly ruined that dream for them. There was a lot into it, but we can put the blame there. Comes to Washington, more weapons. A team that 2 years ago we loved their defense. Last year they kind of slipped off. A team 2 or 3 years ago had one of the best offensive lines that kind of slipped off. You have weapons. You've seen what you can do against Jacksonville, and they've been shown to be a better team. And since that day, it has been nothing but trending downward. And I'm sorry, the blame goes behind center in number 12, Carson Wentz. There's a lot to this team that needs to be fixed, but it starts there. And if you don't look at it,
the writing was on the wall. When you have a competition with Nick Foles, the writing's on the wall.
You talked about Al Michaels not being invested in this game. The most I heard him excited was when he was talking about Dan Snyder selling the team. This team needs a rebuild from the top down.
I said that last night in the newsroom. I was like, I said that last night. I was like, dude, I think this is the most excited Al Michaels has been all game long. Like, this has been his highlight of his night, is to take the shot at Dan Snyder. Like this is it. Yeah. This is the highlight. This is peak. This is peak right now. And that's what happened.
These are a joke.
Yeah, they are.